Apple has notified its two assemblers that it is cutting orders for the iPhone 5C, raising concerns about weak demand and its pricing strategy. This is Asia Today. I'm Yun-Hee Kim. Joining me to discuss this story is Eva Dou, Taipei Tech correspondent. Eva, what are you hearing from your sources, and why is Apple cutting orders?
So Apple has two suppliers making the low-cost iPhone, and both of them, and sources from both the companies, Pegatron and Foxconn, have told us that Apple has cut their orders in the past month for the fourth quarter. And so how this is being interpreted in the supply chain is the result of not very much consumer demand for the low-cost iPhone. It seems like consumers like the higher-end iPhone 5S with the fingerprint sensor much more.
Right, and how much of a reduction are we talking about here, and is this a concern for Apple's earnings going forward?
So my source at the main supplier, Pegatron, has told me they received a less than 20% cut. And then the secondary supplier, Yun-Hee, they've received about a 30% cut. And so some upstream component suppliers have received even larger cuts than that, which might imply that later on there might be even a bigger slowdown in shipments.
Right, but at the same time, Apple is seeing an increase in orders for the iPhone 5S you mentioned earlier. So what are you hearing from your sources about demand for the higher-end iPhone?
Yes, demand for the higher-end iPhone is definitely better than Apple had expected. They actually raised orders for that from Foxconn. So that's good news for Foxconn. Not so good news for Pegatron because they only make the low-cost one.
Right, and finally, what does this say about Apple's pricing strategy? When they launched the iPhone 5C last month, many people were surprised that it was actually priced in the high end of the range, and so it wasn't actually very cheap.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of investors and consumers were surprised that the low-cost iPhone, so-called low-cost, was not actually so low-cost. It actually is still a fairly expensive smartphone compared to low-cost Chinese suppliers such as Xiaomi, those kind of brands. And so I guess some investors were disappointed that it wasn't low-cost enough to attract a whole new group of consumers.
Okay, well, we'll be watching the market reaction to this news. Thanks for following up. For more on this story, you can go to WSJ.com. I'm Yun-Hee Kim for the Wall Street Journal Digital Network. Thanks for watching.